Hey everybody, it's Friday. That means Canary Cry News Talk live stream is back, baby. And I'm looking at the chat here. We got Twitchers coming in. We got YouTubers coming in. And the award goes to First Name, Last Name over on YouTube for first comment of the day. Congratulations, your check is in the mail. Okay, folks, remember, you're going to want to follow us on multiple platforms. One of those is twitch.tv/CanaryCryRadio. That's twitch.tv/CanaryCryRadio. It's a good idea to follow us on multiple platforms so you never miss a show. You know, those pesky notifications can get clogged up in the intertubes once in a while. So follow us on Twitch, turn on notifications. It's a great time. Make sure right now, hit that thumbs up button. Hey, you can always take it back later if we don't earn it, but give it to us now. It'll help the algorithms share the show around. We survived the culling. Let's keep it that way. All right, folks, strap on in. Here we go.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is October 16th, 2020. This is episode 256. And today, Control, Alt, right, Delete. That's right, folks. And you know me, I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast where we love Jesus, we love you, we love ourselves. A little too much over there for Basil and his googly eyes. And, of course, we love our enemies, even though they're all absurd.
It ain't easy, folks. It ain't easy. But we're glad you're here, and it's Friday. We made it. We made it through another week, and very exciting. 2 more days closer to baby time, Gonz.
Yeah.
Are you nervous yet?
No, not nervous. I'm nervous for my wife.
I'm nervous for you.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think the first time, with the last baby, it was the first time where I was there during a birth. And it was the first time where I thought, like, we're aliens. We are the aliens.
Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
Just the whole thing.
Human inside of human thing.
Human coming out of human. And, yeah, the whole deal is.
Wow.
It's quite the miraculous thing. There's no way that just evolutionary goo came up with this. There's just no way.
We're the aliens, man.
Yeah, I know. I didn't mean that in like a. Well, I did, but I didn't. Anyway.
How you meant it. I got to give a shout out to Cliff over on YouTube. Says he got the notification for the show when his phone was at 33%.
Oh.
Wake up, sheeple.
Yeah, all happening. All happening.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't think, actually, for once, I don't think I have any news. No. Thankfully, I mean, for better or worse.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any new news.
Well, I will say that I don't have to take my Rona test for at least another week, because it's unlikely that I contracted it in the last situation I was talking about in the last episode.
Uh-huh.
But I still have to take the test if I want to be present with the wife.
Oh, they're going to make you take the test before the birth.
Yeah, and I'm going to be asking questions about the PCR and how many spins and what kind of how many cycles and what the whole deal is.
Just asking questions, Gon.
Asking questions.
You have the right to ask questions about your own health care. Remember that, folks.
I do.
Even if they show up with their guns, ask questions.
I'll be asking. I might ask them about the Barrington Declaration too, which we'll touch on the second half of the show today.
I know. I'm excited about that because as of now, maybe I've heard of it before, but as of now, I have no recollection of what that is. So
good.
I'm excited for your breakdown.
We also have a news about how tobacco is in the coronavirus vaccine.
This is great, and I have some connections to add to that as well.
Perfect. So yeah, I'll be asking my whoever's doing the test. I'll be like, "Hey,
Okay, you got to smoke."
I almost said what they call it in England over there. And I don't think that would have been good.
That Gonzo, don't do that.
I know, trouble.
Actually, I do have some quick news that I want to chat about. I'm sure you have. Nope. Okay, nope. I'm going to save it for later on the show. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm seeing now we have a section, and I have some comments about it. So, Gonz, I say we should get right into the show with a Flippy update.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Hooky dokie. Today, folks, we're doing a Flippy update. If you're new to the show, well, welcome to the family, first of all. We're glad you're here. But I want to explain the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. And we use talking about Flippy as sort of a proxy conversation to explore how robotics and AI are, essentially taking over the world right out from under our noses. And today I'm coming from dailymail.co.uk. And the headline is, "Would you date a droid? Survey reveals a quarter of people haven't ruled out the idea of having a robot as a romantic partner, with the Dutch the most accepting." Those Dutch. The Dutch love the droids. And the article reads thusly: about a quarter of people haven't ruled out the idea of dating a robot, according to a new survey. And the Dutch are the most accepting of the idea of artificial amour. Researchers from the University of Twente used data from the EU-backed Ccnt project that studies ethics and opinions surrounding cutting-edge technology. They didn't survey me, but they did survey 11,000 people and found 27% either supported the idea of dating a robot or hadn't completely ruled it out. And 72% were completely opposed to the idea of digital dalliance. That leaves 1%. 72 plus 27. That's 99%. Who's the 1%?
The 1%. Of course, the elite, you know?
Yes.
They just left the elite 1% off because they are the robots, Basil. You don't...
While we do, our main focus here is to dabble in actually analyzing how the news is being presented to us. That's one thing to point out. 72 plus 27 only equals 99. But notice that 27% is either supporting the idea of dating a robot or hadn't completely ruled it out.
Yeah.
So that's two different categories wrapped up into the 27%, and they don't say which like the actual numbers for each category.
Right.
Could have been 26.9% said they hadn't ruled it out, and there's 0.1% saying they support the support the idea.
Yeah.
So anyways, just another way you can lie with statistics. But let's move on. In the Netherlands, support for someone having a robotic boyfriend or girlfriend went up 53%, the highest of the 11 countries involved in the survey. The multinational telephone survey by the Dutch research team also found that people were uncomfortable with robots that look and behave like humans. You and me both, Dutch. But that's weird because obviously a quarter of the Dutch people are down to droid.
Down to droid. Wow.
But according to this, they don't want it to look and behave like a human. So they'd rather date R2-D2 than C-3PO.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it's a weird little detail there. We are getting used to interacting with intelligent machines. No, the plan is working, apparently. We are getting used to interacting with intelligent machines, from robot vacuum cleaners, smart speakers that can control our lights, and AI assistants in our phones. Millions of people ask Siri, Alexa, or Google to help with homework, for the weather forecast, or to book a table for dinner every day. The developments and shift towards a world dominated by robotics and artificial intelligence devices are already visible, explained the Dutch team. Having a robot clean up the carpet in the living room is very different to taking one on a date or to the bedroom. Wow. Thank you for that vivid explanation. Across all 11 countries, just 12% outright support the idea of dating a droid. Okay, there we go.
There it is.
15% are on the fence, and 72% are completely opposed to it. Well, there's still hope in this world.
There's still that 1% missing.
I know, they're still missing 1%. People were asked how much they agreed or disagreed that it's acceptable if people have a robot as a romantic partner that is a girlfriend or a boyfriend. There was wide variation by country in terms of levels of acceptance to the idea of robots as romantic partners. The authors explained the Netherlands was the most accepting, with 30% agreeing that it was acceptable, 23% undecided, 45% outright opposed. Let's see if that still leaves 2%. Sweden, South Korea, the U.S., South Africa, and Germany all had more than 10% of those surveyed agreeing the idea of a robotic surveyed agreeing to the idea of a robotic romance. Greece, Poland, France, Spain, and Brazil are the countries least supportive of robotic relationships, all with under 10% agreeing of them being a good idea. The survey found that 80% of people polled thought that the AI and robotics revolution would significantly change their country over the next 20 years. Under half were positive about the impact of these machines. Blah, blah, blah. Hold on, let me skip down. They kind of go into some boring stuff there for a second. Not important. Aside from love life, there was also a concern that human-like robots in the workplace, with just over half saying they don't want to work with a robot. So there you go. You can bring them home to mama, but they don't get a paycheck. Most people are accepting of robots and artificial intelligence, but they do not like the idea of robots with human-like features, said Philip Bray, project coordinator. Quote, "We know the benefits of interacting with machines can be enormous." Well, I think that's a little bit of an overstatement, but okay. However, as we increase our dependence on the technology, we also stand to lose some of our autonomy. Unless everyone has access to technology on the same terms, we risk building an unequal society. Oh, no.
As if it's not already unequal.
I know. Oh, no. I hope we don't have to ever experience an unequal society. The professor of philosophy of technology explained, according to Bray, the survey results clearly show that people have an increase in inequalities is one of the risks stemming from the transformations to society, something that could lead to a reduction of our individual autonomy. That's an interesting connection to make, but okay. The data from these surveys give a snapshot of what people know about technology and how they view both its benefits and risks. And that's the end of the article. So there you go, Gons. The idea of having a relationship with an android is quickly catching on, especially in the Netherlands.
I think we're qualified.
Freaky over there.
Yeah, I think we're qualified to be professors of philosophy of technology.
I think so too. I look, I don't want to toot my own horn, people, but I'll let my track record speak for itself. It's been 8 years now of pretty much full immersion into studying the trends in robotics and AI, personhood of robots, all these things. It's all we do, Gons.
I know.
We should get some sort of honorary degree.
Honorary
There's
doctorate.
any deans, university deans out there?
Yeah,
Get
what's your our work will be check out this podcast where we document all of our essays.
I want to get an honorary degree, and I'll speak at your commencement. Don't worry. I'll be in a fake beard, but I will speak at your commencement. So, college students, get on it. We need a petition or something.
Excellent.
So there you go, Gons. Those numbers. Actually, we've touched on the robot romance topic before. I was kind of looking through our long list of notes, and we have touched on it before, but the numbers have grown even since we've been doing this show. So
yeah,
there you go. We need to work harder.
Well, also, something to keep in mind, one of the first things we mentioned when the whole lockdown started was that it's gonna increase the speed of the robots and the robot economy, the technology, all that stuff. Think about quarantine. If there is another pandemic that they roll out, next time it might be, due time instead of Zoom. People just want their robots,
Oh.
Just saying, if they want to use some of our ideas for the
They are
capitalistic.
using our ideas.
I know. They rip us off all the time, even though we're against it. We're like, they shouldn't do this. It'll be horrible if they do, and they're like, yes, we will do it.
We didn't like the droids before it was cool.
The joke is that everybody listens to our show, all the elite people, including like church elite people, and they react to us, which brings us to a few updates here.
Okay.
We interrupt this broadcast to give you a brief update. By the end of this timely interruption, you will be thoroughly updated.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
Of course, the last Trump virtual conference had 33 speakers. We called them out, and they did something about it, apparently, because now it's been updated to 36 speakers,
Yes.
Basil. They added some people to the list for the last Trump virtual conference by the Prophecy Watchers, and now they can't. Somebody must have told them.
Somebody's paying attention. I mean,
Yeah.
I looked at that list. There's some people on the list who at least have listened to the show, if not currently listen to the show.
Or have been on the
So,
show. There's a good handful that have been on the show.
A lot of them, have been on the show. So yeah, there we go. They heard the calls of the people. Don't worry, everybody. They're listening, and yes, they added 3 more speakers to the last Trump. What is it called? The last Trump? Yes.
Yeah.
The last Trump virtual conference.
Yep.
So Illuminati disconfirmed.
We think. Although 3 and 6, 9. Okay.
Uh-oh.
We'll get into some math later. But
Yeah.
there's a few other 33 updates. The Illuminati dog whistle. This one was, as always, there's always 33 cases of coronavirus somewhere. The CordovaTimes.com, 2 new cases brings virus total to 33.
No.
Okay.
course.
Why? All right. Like, why 2 new cases? Like, what is
know.
two more? Is that like a landmark for them? Like, hey, we got to 33. We got to get a headline out there now.
Because that's the only way the spell will work. Gons, you know this.
Apparently. The other one here from Capital Press, empowering producers of food and fiber. Emergency farm worker housing sanitation rule nets 33 violations.
Oh,
A lot of violations.
that's too many violations.
That's a lot for a sanitation thing. Salem, an emergency rule to protect Oregon agricultural workers from COVID-19 during this year's harvest, is set to expire October 25th. So far, the rule has resulted in 33 violations, officials say. So don't go out in nature in Oregon. I don't know, or at least don't farm unless.
Well, they better not get any more violations because they're not going to report 34.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. They'll break the spell.
Yeah.
There's a quick race wars update that we have to get to here.
The race wars.
Race war.
I've warned you and warned you and warned you.
This is Pix11.com. Kyle Rittenhouse won't face charges in Illinois for Kenosha shooting.
Knew it.
And I think you called this one, didn't you? Did you call this one?
Yeah, I did. As much as I would like to take credit, I mean, it was pretty obvious that
Yeah, a
he
lot of
wasn't
people.
going to face any things, no matter how many times news anchors call him a Nazi.
Yeah, Nazi, white supremacist, whatever it was. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really too surprised by it, especially with some of the video footage that they have of what happened. Again, we don't have to reiterate the point, but he wasn't just like walking around shooting people. He was certainly defending himself. So something to keep in mind. But
yeah, he is going to. So he's not facing charges in Illinois, but it says here Rittenhouse, who's from Antioch, Illinois, remains held in a juvenile detention center in Lake County without bond due to pending criminal charges in Kenosha. what is that?
Wisconsin.
Oh boy, it was Wisconsin. Yeah, Rittenhouse is due back in Lake County Court on October 30th for an extradition hearing. So he still can possibly face charges in Wisconsin, but Illinois will not be charging him with anything.
Okay. All right. Cool.
We'll know after Halloween.
Okay. Yep. Always good to
But maybe
keep up with
not.
this.
I mean, Illinois does not have to extradite him. It depends what kind of defense and support he's getting in Illinois.
Right.
Because technically, Illinois does not have to extradite him. He just needs to not get caught somewhere in Wisconsin. He just has to stay out of Wisconsin.
Well, I was going to say, why was it even a question from Illinois? Just because he's from there? Is that why they...
Yeah, because he's from there, and I need to fully familiarize myself with the current facts. But because he's from there and allegedly
brought the gun from there,
from there.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
So they're not going to charge him. We'll see if he gets extradited, but who knows?
All right. Well, with more news from the air.
You don't know what you're looking at.
What's driving that thing? It's not a space alien.
Aliens. It's unidentified.
This is the LATimes.com. Second sighting of person wearing a jetpack near LAX prompts new investigation.
Jetpack Man is back.
He's back. It's the second time. Rocketeer is for real.
Yeah.
LA International Airport officials are investigating reports of someone wearing a jetpack in the flight path. I don't know why you would do it in the flight path. That doesn't.
Why doesn't he drive out to like Joshua Tree or something to test this thing?
Well, again, maybe he's doing, he's doing drug deals or something. And he's got to come in and out. And an air traffic controller.
Seems like extra danger, putting yourself at extra risk flying in LAX airspace.
Yeah. An air traffic controller overseeing airline approaches warned a commercial pilot who was set up to land that an individual wearing a jetpack had been reported flying at about 6,500 feet. A China airline crew, there we go. They can't be trusted. They're just making stuff up. I'm just kidding. Member reported seeing
China hoax. Jetpack Man does not exist.
What appeared to be someone in a jetpack roughly 7 miles northwest of the airport around 1:45 p.m. Wednesday, according to the Federal Aviation Administration. So, yeah, there you go. I mean, this is the second time in a couple months that's happened?
6,500 feet is so high. That must be terrifying. This guy's got real cojones. Whoever it is.
It's Iron Man. It's Iron Man or Rocketeer, one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I like Rocketeer, just because it was more retro.
Gons, you can't throw us off. We know it's you.
No. Maybe.
There you go. Strong denial, folks.
Strong denial.
A wandering no. All right.
Well, maybe I'll fly in and meet Trump from the sky because he's coming to my neck of the woods here.
We will launch a new age.
Yeah, this is ABC7.com. Trump to attend private fundraiser in Orange County on Sunday.
Oh, his last bastion of California support.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's even making a visit to California. It might be one of his body doubles,
Oh, yeah.
President Donald Trump is scheduled to visit Orange County on Sunday for a private fundraiser at tech mogul Palmer Luckey's estate. Do you know who Palmer Luckey is, Basil? Or Luckey?
No.
He's donated like $500,000 to the Trump Foundation. Luckey is a Long Beach native who was 19 when he co-founded the Oculus Rift virtual reality system in Irvine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we have him to thank for
your googly eyes.
My googly eyes. Oh.
His company sold for an estimated $3 billion to Facebook in 2014, so he got his money. But yeah, there you go. You know what's funny? I drive around this part of town here, Irvine, Orange County, and there's all the election stuff. So there's a bunch of like posters and little things everywhere. Mm-hmm. And there's a political person here, and I don't know local politics. I don't pay attention, especially in Irvine. But there's someone named Farah Khan. His name is Farrah Khan.
Yeah, I've heard the name.
I would change my name.
Why?
It's just Farrah Khan.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, I just thought it was funny and interesting. Yeah, so I'll use my jetpack and fly in and meet Trump, and he'll tell me that I'm part of the new age, and it'll be fantastic.
Yes. Somebody in the chat was mentioning it's probably some new gimmick for marijuana delivery dispensary. Guy shows up in a jetpack.
Yeah. It'll freak out all those smokers.
All the potheads.
Okay, one more quick update here. This is Hairy Legs Biden update.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs.
So some of you guys may have known about this. This just, came across my desk, and I was just laughing very, very loud concerning my wife because I was laughing so loud. But this tweet says, Joe Biden has a history of being crooked. He has been caught many times, including back in 1988 when he was caught lying and his character exposed. And there's a couple clips here, 1 minute and 33 second clip from some old news reports about Biden. And 88, I think Basil was just a concept in 88. I don't think Basil was even...
but a twinkle.
But a twinkle. But so this is before your time. And I think I was a budding, 5-year-old, something like that, really, really into politics. So I was paying attention to what was going on then. But this news report, there's a couple parts that I love the edits of the old school edits here.
A second instance.
It reappeared in the New York Times with a new charge that Biden had appropriated a famous litany from the late Robert Kennedy about what the gross national product cannot measure.
It cannot measure the health of our children.
The health of our children.
The quality of our education.
The quality of their education.
The joy of their play.
For the joy of their play.
Biden gave Kennedy no credit. He has also quoted or paraphrased John Kennedy, Hubert Humphrey, and British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock.
That's a lot of people.
All without credit.
Joseph Biden admitted today that he committed plagiarism when he was in law school. He said it was a mistake, but that it was unintentional.
He quoted 5 pages of someone else's work without proper citation.
I've done some dumb things, and I'll do dumb things again.
He was given an F.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been dumb.
To the political community in Washington, it all seems of a piece. Plagiarism at law school.
He was given an F, they said.
There is one less candidate in the race for the presidency tonight. Delaware Senator Joseph Biden dropped out of the hunt today, saying the disclosures about his plagiarism in law school and his exaggerations about his academic record made it impossible for him to continue.
Wow.
I do it with incredible reluctance, and it makes me angry. I'm angry with myself for having been put myself in the position of having to make this choice.
Freudian
The Delaware
slip.
Democrat is the second candidate to be forced from the race by questions of character and integrity.
I think people like Biden have just been spoon-fed what to say, what kind of things to report, or just his whole life almost.
Yeah.
He's almost been like a controlled puppet forever.
Oh, totally.
But I love the Biden ISO.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been dumb.
I've been dumb. Oh gosh. Yeah. Well, we've known about his habits of plagiarism for a while. He had a recent one, but it's nice to know that it's been as would be pointed out if it were aimed towards a Republican. This is a pattern of dishonesty and plagiarism. So there you go.
It's just so blatant, though.
Bold move, though, taking it straight from a Kennedy, as if somebody wouldn't notice.
I know. This is before internet days too, so you got to remember, people had to dig it up a little bit. But yeah, maybe back then, they thought, hey, we don't have the internet yet. People won't know.
Nah, yeah, you could get away with it a lot better back then, but
well, there's a lot of things you could have gotten away with. The further back in time you go,
yeah, that's true.
Bank robberies.
Speaking of getting away with stuff, Gons.
Oh yeah, let's get into our one of our stories here.
State-sponsored propaganda machinery.
Okay, so the ACB, the Amy Coney Barrett hearing, actually the confirmation is happening today, I think, or was that yesterday? I think it's
in the
today.
last couple days.
So I missed it. I do have to say I did miss the town halls too, but we'll chat about that later.
I didn't really watch it either.
So this was being reported a lot of places, but we all know my affection for the Babylon Bee. And really, I've loved seeing the Babylon Bee go from sort of a niche. Yeah, well, it was like a niche thing, as Christians, is a Christian satire news agency. And, years ago when we first found them, very niche, very cool, very, funny. And they're still hilarious. They do a great job. Wow, I'm getting into this way deeper than I want. But it's been interesting to see the Babylon Bee, become a national name, basically.
Well, Trump retweeted something from the Babylon Bee today.
Oh, yeah. No.
And people are like, you tweeted a satire site.
I know. With all their battles with Facebook and stuff, too. So it's been fun watching that. But there's a site called Not the Bee. And I don't know if it's owned by the same people or not, but Not the Bee kind of refers to like, yeah, these stories are so crazy, but we're not the Bee. This is not satire.
Right. Which is all one and the same, I would say, at some point.
Yeah, who knows? This is notthebee.com. The article is titled Amy Coney Barrett uses the term sexual preference. Dems and media flip out while Webster's dictionary redefines the term.
Whoa.
I know, it was crazy. There is so much going on in this story, it's hard to know where to begin. Hawaii Senator Mazie Hirono is making all sorts of headlines after yesterday's SCOTUS nomination hearing of Amy Coney Barrett. She asked if Barrett has ever sexually assaulted anyone, prompted by nothing, but that wasn't enough. Hirono then goes on to claim that Judge ACB has used the term sexual preference instead of sexual orientation, because it is an offensive and outdated term. Here's MSNBC producer's take on the term. Sexual preference, a term used by Justice Barrett, is offensive and outdated. The term implies sexuality is a choice. It is not. News organizations should not repeat Justice Barrett's words without providing important context. The article that was a tweet. The article continues, not only is it offensive and outdated, news stations shouldn't even broadcast the phrase. Of course, the internet is quick to point out the Democrat hypocrisy on this issue. Here's a highlight reel of high-ranking Democrats using the term sexual preference. This is, let's see here. Oh, there's some clips. Are you able to play those clips? Oh, wait.
You want me to play it?
Yeah, I don't know what this clip is. No, that's of the actual hearing. Yeah, why don't you play it?
You use the term sexual preference to describe those in the LGBTQ community. And let me make clear, sexual preference is an offensive and outdated term.
This time bring everybody along, regardless of color, sexual preference.
Based on whatever color, what their sexual preference might be.
By race, by age, by sexual preference.
Doesn't matter what your sexual preference is.
What their sexual preference is.
Never in the course of her military career had anything about her sexual preference had any impact.
Based upon race, color, or preference or sexual preference.
I don't think that you use the term sexual preference as just, I don't think it was an accident.
Our society has come to respect people, whatever their sexual preference.
Come on, RBG, get it out.
RBG, get it out, yeah.
So there you go. The article continues. Joe Biden, Keith Ellison, and even the notorious RBG have all used the term sexual preference without any repercussions. Also, here's a story in the ultra-woke Atlantic. That's the widow of Steve Jobs' outlet. Also, here's a story in the ultra-woke Atlantic that uses the forbidden term when describing an Obama executive action. Sunny does a great job listing nearly 20 stories that use the ultra-offensive term. And then there's a little tweet there from the Atlantic. Obama likely to sign executive order, the Atlantic, on the basis of their sexual preference or gender identification. Article continues, and there's the Advocate running a headline with the quote-unquote offensive phrase just 18 days before decrying the use and deeming it an anti-LGBTQ term once it is associated with ACB. Then you can see their tweets there. And in order to really drive the point home, Webster's Dictionary changed the definition of the phrase to add offensive as a definition.
Oh my God.
And they did this like the day that ACB said it. And there's a tweet there from Steve Krakauer. As recently as last month, Webster's Dictionary included a definition of preference as orientation or sexual preference. Today, they changed it and added the word offensive. And you can see the actual screenshot there. Check it out. Number 5, changes from a link to orientation to an additional definition of offensive. And this happens just after ACB is associated with the term. They think they can get away with this. It's so brazen and right in front of our eyes. So there you go. I thought this was a great, Ministry of Truthiness article. Because, of course, they're fighting tooth and nail against this ACB thing. And the term sexual preference, which is just so widely used, even by leading Democrats and social justice, goddesses such as RGB or RBG. Once a conservative woman uses it, she didn't even use it in the court. It was from like a statement she made long time ago, way before like a lot of these Democrats were using it and these quote unquote woke outlets. And just to seal it into the 1984 Ministry of Truthiness, they changed the dictionary definition the day people started calling out ACB for it. So there you go. That's how it works. That's how it works in today's today's world. They can just decide to pick anything you said long ago. They're running out of people to cancel. You can't just cancel people for, saying, obviously problematic and maybe racist things in the past. Now you can just pick out anything they've ever said and just have Webster's change the dictionary, and suddenly it's a hate crime.
What we need to do is start a movement to cancel Mazie Hirono for using the term in her little speech there. Part of knowing that this is ridiculous is that she's using the phrase in the thing. Like if it was really that offensive, she wouldn't use it.
You can't say the N-word if you're just reporting on somebody saying the N-word.
Right.
If it really was that offensive of a phrase, you couldn't even print it.
Yeah. So this is ridiculous. And it's really bad that, Webster's would change it.
Yeah. It's straight up. That is not even like, we're not even trying to make an allegorical connection to 1984. That is literally what happens in 1984.
Yeah, it's exactly what happens. So fun to be alive here today.
Yeah, there you go.
Changing, but they can only do that on the internet. They couldn't change all those hard copies, unless they got the what's that thing that people were always saying was changing the Bible?
The
Mandala effect machine.
Effect,
if they have the Mandala effect machine, then they can change all the dictionary on paper too.
That's a great point. That actually might be some evidence against the some sort of controlling elite using the Mandala effect.
Yeah.
If they had a machine for the Mandala machine, they would have just changed it, and we all would have known long ago you can't say that word.
Yeah, and there's also that problem of if they changed it and then they changed history, then would we even know it? Wouldn't we just be part of the change too?
Trippy, dude.
Trippy, mind control. Okay.
All right, what's next?
All right, so let's get to another cancel culture type of story here.
Cancel culture. Cue the miserable, cue the desperate. What must I do to convince you people? You're right, Q.
So
quick correction. It's Mandela effect, not Mandala effect.
Mandela. Okay, sorry. Yesterday was a weird day because, of course, we'll get to the Twitter shutdown type of thing, but also a whole bunch of YouTube channels just got deleted, completely deleted.
It was a massacre.
It was a massacre. I feel like I'm grateful that we didn't get shut down, but it's probably because we didn't go too hard.
Well, yes.
Well,
and
not yet anyway.
That's I have a little spiel that I want to mention about that when we get to that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to read this from the dailybeast.com. Of course, it's a left-leaning outlet there. And I like the sub thing. That escalated quickly.
Sounds like
real.
It sounds like us trying to make a show title.
It does. Once again, trying to copy our material. And the image they have here is the YouTube logo, crushing or like breaking in half the letter Q.
Whoa,
it's
cool.
It looks like someone's paint shop job. It doesn't even look like it's made from Photoshop. It's just so bad.
MS Paint?
MS Paint, yeah. Okay, so here's what it says. YouTube launched a new crackdown on QAnon videos on Thursday, dealing another major setback to the pro-Trump conspiracy movement. I don't know if it's a major setback, but okay. 1 week after Facebook launched its own purge of QAnon accounts, in its announcement, YouTube said it would delete, quote, content that targets an individual or group with conspiracy theories that have been used to justify real-world violence. I mean, doesn't Antifa fit into that exact definition? That description, the site notes, would apply to QAnon, which the FBI considers a source of potential domestic terrorism. QAnon believers have been charged with a number of crimes that appear to be inspired by their support of the conspiracy theory, including 2 murders, a terrorist act, and child abductions. That's really weird because a lot of Q people are anti-pedophilia and child abductions and all that. But anyway,
like the whole thing almost.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing. Well, not according to some people. We'll get to that in a moment. Quote, today, we're further expanding both our hate and harassment policies to prohibit content that targets an individual or group with conspiracy theories that have been used to justify real-world violence, YouTube said in a statement. One example would be content that threatens or harasses someone by suggesting they are complicit in one of these harmful conspiracies, such as QAnon or Pizzagate. It's not clear how many videos will be deleted under the new policy, which YouTube plans to start enforcing today, but the prohibition on alleging that people or groups are involved in the cabal-like conspiracy sketched out by QAnon could result in a massive purge of QAnon videos. It did. Maybe this person didn't get the memo. Although it's not clear how prevalent QAnon content is on the site. The new YouTube policy doesn't qualify as an official QAnon ban, but YouTube expects that it will drastically impact the QAnon community on the site. Okay, well, all right, then it's practically a QAnon ban then. An earlier YouTube crackdown in 2019 resulted in tens of thousands of QAnon videos being deleted, while a change to the site's algorithms caused recommendations pushing people to QAnon channels to plunge, according to the platform. The new policy changes come 3 days after the YouTube CEO, Susan Wojcicki, refused...
We haven't talked about her recently.
We haven't, but here she is. She's back. Is she in the chat? We'll see. To commit to a full QAnon ban in an interview, saying instead that YouTube was, quote, looking very closely at QAnon. YouTube had become an even more important base for QAnon believers after the Facebook ban forced QAnon promoters to look for other platforms to host their content. Almost since its start in late 2017, QAnon has thrived on YouTube. A 24/7 YouTube live stream about QAnon called Patriots Soapbox became one of QAnon's earliest forums and has become influential enough on the right that Republican candidates for Congress appear on it. Viral YouTube videos with names like Out of Shadows and The Plan to Save the World packaged QAnon content in a more visually appealing way, pulling in new adherents and earning praise from celebrities like former baseball pitcher Curt Schilling. Such a weird... The Daily Beast is... Schilling. And he's a. Do you know who Kurt Schilling is?
No.
Okay, he was. He had the bloody sock. It was a very famous bloody sock incident when he pitched the World Series. QAnon groups have also used YouTube to harass people. Have they? Former actor Isaac Cappy rose to fame in QAnon world with YouTube videos accusing various Hollywood celebrities without evidence of being involved in satanic pedophile rituals. While Cappy had no evidence for his claims, the videos were viewed as fundamental proof in the QAnon community, creating bogus pedophile allegations that continue to inspire threats against the figures Cappy targeted. This article failed to mention that Cappy was, I don't know if he was killed, but he died. Definitely died a couple of years ago, I think. And people had suspected maybe
inspiring violence against a dead man.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, okay. Now, I'm going to give you the list according to disclose.tv as of yesterday. The list of names that were the YouTube channels deleted. You have Destroying the Illusion, Red Pill 78, Praying Medic, Joe M, iPot, X22 Report, Edge of Wonder, SGT Report, Space Shot 76, Woke Society's Amazing Polly, Truth and Art TV, Patriots Soapbox, Dustin Nemos, And We Know, Stroppy Me, Just Informed Talk, and Sarah Westall. And Titus Frost was also deleted. So just, to mention, I don't know that this is the complete list. So yeah, I mean, part of me is like, hey, we didn't get deleted. Probably because we didn't push Q and we're not like super Q people. But
well, there's many reasons.
Right.
That's what I want to talk about.
Okay. But I want to say that, we're not pro Q either. So, but go ahead. What were you going to say about the whole?
Well, here's the thing, because there's a lot of talk about how, and to a degree, it is true, but among fringy types like ourselves and our colleagues, getting YouTube canceled is kind of a badge of honor. I mean, you've already gotten the first badge of honor, which is demonetization. Sorry, there's cat hair in my mouth. So that's one, but then it's like another sort of badge of honor to get deleted. And here's the thing. We have been very careful, okay? It's not because we're CIA shills. It's not because we compromise any sort of message. It's called tact. Okay, when you know that a great culling is coming, which we keep in mind all the time. I mean, we could disappear off of YouTube at any moment.
Right. We're well aware of that possibility.
But it's a little something called tact, people. And that just involves not getting too hyped up about something that you can't confirm, like Q. We've always been very spectacles of Q, and that's just the case. Okay, it's not because we're friends with Susan Wojcicki or whatever. If you've been watching the show for a while, it's known that people can spot out when I begin talking in my tactful way, like I am right now.
Right.
Because I mean, it's really just takes one slip up to put your channel on a list.
Right.
And we try I do. I mean, I don't know about you, Gons, but I try very hard to make sure that we're very specific about what we say and we don't fall into the trap of adding more hype to something that doesn't need our hype. There's no value for you and I to add stuff to certain hype cycles. And so, I get it. Canary Cry didn't get banned. And believe it or not, folks, that's a good thing. And it's on purpose. So,
well, I do want to mention also that not all these people on the list are like just exclusive Q peddlers.
Yeah,
these people are just truth. There's a lot of truth seekers on this list of just people that, they may have interviewed Q, pro Q people or whatever, but that's part of the issue here too, is like, oh, you had a guest on, then delete your channel. It's like the problem here is more so on this idea that they're just going to delete millions of subscribers when you put them all together, and probably billions of hours of video and research and everything else. And that's the part of it where it's kind of like a book burning going on.
Right.
because, for example, Titus Frost, he had tweeted out how, he had put all his research and, he's backed up his stuff. So it's not like it's completely gone, but YouTube being sort of supposedly kind of like your town square, right? Where you go to find your information, being the second or third biggest search engine in the world. He had all that research and evidence and everything posted on his channel. So when they delete your channel, there goes all that research too, all that evidence that people can look up. And that's the part where it's just really, on the theme here of, Control Alt Delete or censorship, 1984 style, whatever. This is like a modern day book burning. And I think it's really unfortunate, but also, again, these people are going to get a kind of, attention push from, the people they appeal to. That crowd is going to support them.
They're
going
to be fine.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay.
Fine. They have very supportive people. Much like we do.
Right.
And another part of it is, especially with this show, Canary Cry Radio is its own thing. But this show, we're just doing analysis. This is news analysis. We just read straight from the headlines and analyze it and connect dots. If that happens to cross over with some sort of conspiracy theory or Q thing, then it happens to do that. But mainly here we are analyzing the mainstream news that's coming at us.
Right.
And that's saved us here for a while. I do want to give some shout outs to RIP Epstein, aka Lo Mossad, in the chat. Says what Basil and Gons do is prove they know how to tell the truth without trying to write any nonsense. Virtue pays off. And New to Box says, got to know when to hold them. And that's what we do. We know when to hold them.
Yeah.
All right.
And we've mentioned before how, it was a very, some people subscribing, go for it. There were opportunities for us to just really be sensational about, or just even for myself on just the Face Like the Sun side of things, to be like super sensational about like, dude, the Q thing, and it's all going down. We're taking down the pedo elite and all this kind of stuff. And certainly, as a normal human being, it's like, yeah, it would be nice if a pedo ring would go down. And it would be nice to think that like some people that are within the ranks are doing something about it. Of course, 100%. But, in terms of taking Q posts, and I heard 8kun went down too. I don't know if that's 100% true, but some of those outlets went down too. And so a lot of weird things happening. We just can't trust the internet. And that goes for us too. Like, don't just trust us because we're saying something on here on the internet.
Right.
Go do your own research. And that's the biggest part here is people have lost the ability to think critically and think for themselves and be good Bereans.
Yeah. And just to make a comment about, to peek a little bit behind the curtain on how, the decision-making processes on our show is, on a topic or a story or even a Q thing, do we have something to add to the conversation?
Right.
If we don't have something to add to a conversation, we don't do it, because we don't want to just, be repeating everything that other people are saying. If we have something to add, you get it. And that's why, and that's just valuable. That's part of the value of the show is, a lot of what we bring up here is brought up through our own research and analysis, not just repeating something that comes on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I see that now. Somebody in the YouTube unsubscribing now. Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Yeah. See you later, buddy. It's always funny how people think that that's like I don't know. It's when you make the announcement that you're unsubscribing, it's almost like, okay, it almost hurts more if you don't say anything.
It's a cry for help. Yeah. It's a cry for help.
It's a cry to appeal. Okay, the other part of it, just to mention here, is that, what was it going to be? There was something else about it. I forget.
You got another link there.
I do. I was going to get to that. Yeah, I mean, okay, so just the things that we've mentioned before, so we don't have to dwell on it for too long, but
But Adam42 does mention, I'll just mention really quick, says in the chat, think it'll get to the point where you'll get banned just for preaching the gospel. Yeah, I think that, to stop, again, tooting our own horn and doing that, this is a step towards, censorship of all sorts of things.
Right.
And of course, we know, I mean, it is foretold that, preaching the gospel will get lumped in with this, as well as a lot of other stuff. Anything counter narrative. I mean, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Well, so you reminded me of what I was going to say was that for me, I was suspicious very early on about the whole QAnon thing from the beginning, not in terms of its content, but more so the kind of movement it was creating, because it was almost like the I don't know, the I'm trying to come up with an analogy with bugs or something, but you attract certain types of people or certain types of researchers to really, jump on a topic or jump on something. Because a lot of again, you don't have to be QAnon, like super Q, but if you talk about it or you really do the kind of thing that Q people or that appeals to QAnon audience, you'll get lumped in. And so it's much easier to get on a list if you mention it and then boom, you chop it all off at once. And, who knows? I mean, I know Face Like the Sun is on some kind of, the algos have worked against this channel for a while now because obviously, we're not getting any reach on the people that, that have subscribed to the channel and things like that.
Right,
so we get it. But again, it's just one of those things. And people mentioning Alex Jones in the chat. And I from the beginning, when they banned Alex Jones on YouTube and all this, I was like, oh, this is the prototype. They're really sort of, not saying Alex Jones is one way or another. A lot of people think he's controlled opposition and whatnot. And maybe he is, especially with some of the things you're not allowed to talk about on InfoWars or you get, crushed or whatever. But I think when they banned him, quote unquote, banned him, it was sort of okay, this is how it's going to go. And for him, it was like, oh, it was a Sandy Hook conspiracy. He didn't, he talked about the Sandy Hook conspiracy. Well, they just now have Q as this one letter, sweeping thing that they can just get everybody on to a certain bus.
You categorize yourself.
Yeah, you categorize yourself. You get them all on this bus, and then you, drive the bus off the cliff, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking for it. Somebody, I don't know if you're listening. Whoever this was who sent it to us or tagged us in it, do it again because somebody was connecting us to an article regarding it was some congressional committee that they were claiming they had evidence that there's a congressional committee person bringing up in a meeting that they wanted to feed disinfo into the Q group. There is some actual evidence that might be happening. I'm looking through all my notifications. I'm trying to find that shoot. When I saw it, I should have saved it. But anyways.
You reminded me of a story that we didn't have in here, which I think I shared with you about that Canadian court that I sent you yesterday.
Gosh.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah,
I might need to pull that up.
The Canadian Parliament or whatever actually discussing internment camps.
Yeah.
And I guess an RFP, a request for whatever.
Publicity or whatever.
Yeah, it's whatever the government document that goes out that to try to lure in companies to put in a bid. There's actually full-on RFPs out to build internment camps. They're specifically talking about quarantine internment camps, but the RFP mentions that they can be used to hold Canadians for multiple reasons.
Yeah, not just coronavirus.
Yeah, so Canadians' version of FEMA camps, basically. But they're talking about it in the parliament.
Yeah, in the parliament, the guy's asking a question, and then they respond with, like, just nonsense about...
They shut him down.
Yeah, they're like, well, we know the 2-week quarantine is the blah, 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 blah. And then the guy starts talking again, but you didn't answer the question, and they just shut him off.
Yeah, they turned off his mic.
Unbelievable. So the other part, just to finish out this story here, Trump was on last night with his whole town hall, and he was asked about Q, and I'll play the clip from that, but also we live in clown world, right, Basil? I mean, you know that this is like the clown world where everything is just ridiculous.
Clown world. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever heard it called clown world.
Really?
But I can
you
jump
haven't
on
heard
that.
the clown world meme?
No.
Okay. Well, anyway, Chris Cuomo on CNN is probably one of the biggest clowns out there in terms of like just spouting nonsense on television.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I couldn't help it. I was laughing so hard at his little, I guess, worldview of what QAnon is. But it happens after this clip. It's about a minute in. So we'll play the clip here of this is from CNN on YouTube, which has it has a context link underneath the video to Wikipedia QAnon, as if that is a credible source for what's going on. But so this is from the town hall when Trump was asked about Q. And then it goes into the rest of it here.
About QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe it is a satanic cult run by the deep state.
Let me just tell you, what I do hear about it is they are very strongly against pedophilia, and I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that, and I agree with it very strongly.
But there's not a satanic pedophile
cult
being run.
Oh my
You
gosh.
don't know that? Okay.
No, I don't know that.
You just this
neither
week.
do you know that.
Okay.
So the president says he doesn't know anything about QAnon, and then he says, well, he thinks it's about pedophilia. It can't be both of those things, Chris. And finally, you were talking about this retweet that he put out there earlier over the last 24 hours.
He looks so concerned.
Lending credence to this crazy conspiracy theory that Osama bin Laden is still alive. When you're president of the United States, you simply don't do that. You don't retweet crazy conspiracy theory tweets. And so it's sort of, I think that encapsulated the night for me, Chris, because it felt like tonight was 1 hour of 4 years of the Trump presidency, lies, conspiracies, and nonsense.
That's a good title for a special. Jim Acosta, thank you very much. Appreciate the reporting. Let's bring in the big brains. The Chief
big
Doctor,
brains.
Sanjay Gupta, Dana Bash, David
Big
Challian,
brains are coming
and
in.
Michael Smerconish. It's good to have you all. Thank you very much. Important night, Dana. Look, we all know, again, the device of I don't know anything about it, but first of all, he's dead wrong about QAnon being against pedophilia. What they're against is Catholics.
What?
What?
Is that Andrew Cuomo? Who is that?
Chris Cuomo.
Chris is the reporter.
I think Chris is the reporter, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Chris. Oh my God.
QAnon's not against pedophilia. They're against Catholics.
What a whack. This dude knows nothing. Not only does he know nothing, the words he's saying mean nothing.
Had to be laughing for like a half hour last night. I couldn't take it. I kept listening to it. I'm like, what? At least here's the thing. At least represent your enemies properly, right? If you're gonna say something, at least say accurate things about the thing you hate.
They're not
just nonsense.
Not at all against pedophilia. They're against Catholics. What is he even trying to like?
He might be trying to reference
is he trying
Jesuits.
To turn Catholics against Trump? Like, what is the play there?
I don't know, but it is fantastic.
That is wild.
Yeah, I don't know. He goes on for a minute or for a few seconds. Just to wrap things up with this.
And they have decided that pedophilia is a cabal run by the Democrats. So
that's not. Pedophilia. All of pedophilia is a cabal. Run by Democrats.
Yeah.
No, that's not. See, this is.
How do these guys have careers, man? This is crazy talk. He knows less about QAnon than Trump does.
This
wow.
is false.
I mean, okay. like whatever. I know it's CNN. I still don't know who watches CNN anymore. But I just happened to come across this clip, and I didn't see anybody really talking about it. But I got a good laugh out of it. I just thought it was hilarious. And if anybody asks,
it simultaneously makes me laugh, but also makes me so mad.
It does make you mad.
How are you in the position that you are, and you literally know less about it? A simple 3 seconds of a Google search could give him all he needs to know. The problem is the Google search. He's getting the it's the social dilemma thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you Google QAnon in his geographical region, it tells you all sorts of wacky stuff.
So if any of your friends ask, well, so what is Q?
First of all, he's dead wrong about QAnon being against pedophilia. What they're against is Catholics.
Against Catholics. QAnon is against Catholics, everybody.
I mean, maybe there's some like papacy criticism and stuff in there, but he's dead wrong. They're not against pedophilia. I'm pretty sure that's about 98% of the Q thing.
Did he miss all the people protesting, with like Save the Children posters and stuff? I don't know.
I will say I spent some time talking to a LibJoe buddy of mine this morning, and just was getting his thoughts and everything. I like to try to get
LibJoes are people too. They
are
need,
people.
They need to be saved.
He's been a buddy for a long time. We're still friends, even though we disagree on pretty much everything. But I like to get it from his perspective, because he's, I'm not getting the CNN. I'm getting a real guy who he does his job, and he's good at research, and he does his thing. And I was just talking to him about everything. I was talking about the Hunter Biden thing. I was talking to him about the Steele dossier and the Brennan notes and the Russiagate thing. And basically, he's at the point, and the people like him, where he hates Republicans, but he also really hates the Democrats. He's more of a free thinker, even though he's officially a LibJoe. But he really is just upset with the whole thing. But in regards to everything, Russiagate, the Hunter Biden thing, he's kind of just like, yeah, man, they're all horrible. Like the Hunter Biden thing, in his perspective, he's like, what's the story here? Son of famous politician uses his dad's influence to get money. What else is new? And that I kind of understood, because that's the attitude we take towards like Trump's taxes and stuff. Like, yeah, of course, billionaire skirts taxes.
Yeah.
What's the story here?
Yeah.
And that was an interesting take on it.
Sure. Although I would have come back with like, well, there's that problem of documented, basically laundering money.
Oh yeah, and I pushed back. I pushed back on all of it.
Okay.
And he so I had a full conversation, and I brought up everything. And where it landed was, he and him, like him, or him and his circle, they're just kind of like, you know what? We just have to stop. We just can't. We can't compare them. We can't do this and that. And they're just full on, just all that matters is we get rid of Trump. We don't care how corrupt and wacky and awful the other people are. Our number one goal, no matter what, is to get rid of Trump, and nothing else matters. I'm like, well, at least you came out and said it. Like, at least I know where you stand now, which is, no corruption on the Democratic side means anything to you. I believe him when he says he hates the Democratic Party, but he's just so focused on the, gotta get rid of Trump thing. I'm like, okay, hey, that makes sense. At least you're being straightforward about it. And we're not trying to, skirt around the bush here.
You should play this for him and say, don't you want to live in the new age?
We will launch a new age.
Trump's launching the new age.
I'm sure he's come on, Trump's your globalist friend. Anyways, I forgot why I brought that up, but I did want to mention it.
as part of just the whole idea of
the whole thing.
The whole thing, yeah. So you know, I feel bad for the people that didn't back up their material, the people that got deleted, and YouTube, you know, go stick it, YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Hey, don't say that.
Why? Who cares?
Tact guns.
And tact my
All right. If we're deleted tomorrow, I'm blaming you.
You're blaming me.
Yeah.
Did I trigger some AI robots when I said that?
You'll trigger the algos.
Yeah.
All right.
Come at me, algos. I'll hit you with a
story there. We got to keep moving here.
Hit you with the bat. Okay.
Oh, jeez. Threatening violence?
I know.
Threatening violence against robots, guns? Don't you know robots are people too?
Oh, no. Okay. We're going to do this one? You going to do it? Me? All right, I'll do it.
Yeah, I guess that would be me. Sorry about that. Or you. I don't care.
That's quick. CharlotteObserver.com. Twitter didn't shut down to help Biden, but Trump tweeted satire articles saying that. And it says here, Twitter was down Thursday night, but it wasn't for the reasons President Donald Trump tweeted Friday morning. Trump shared a link to a Babylon Bee article that stated Twitter shuts down entire network to slow spread of negative Biden news, which is one of those things that's like, probably partially true, even though it's, you know, couched in satire.
Yeah.
But users were quick to point out one problem. The Babylon Bee is a satire website that writes humorous fake news. Along with posting the link to the joking article, Trump wrote, quote, "Wow, this has never been done in history. This includes his really bad interview last night. Why is Twitter doing this?" Twitter experienced an outage Thursday, but was restored for some users around 7 p.m. Eastern time before Joe Biden and Trump had dueling town hall events at the same time on different networks. Twitter said its issue, quote, was caused by an inadvertent change it made to its internal system. Sorry about that. There is no evidence that suggests Twitter was down to benefit Biden's campaign. Earlier in the week, Trump retweeted a Babylon Bee story with a satirical headline, "California mandates all food must be consumed through IV to ensure masks are never removed." The Babylon Bee, a website similar to The Onion, jokes in its Twitter biography it has fake news you can trust. Its website, blah, blah, blah. A couple more things about, Babylon Bee. I'm not going to read through the rest of this because it's kind of pointless. The idea here is that Twitter did go down yesterday, and they admitted as much as to say it was caused by an inadvertent change. And you know what I think they did, Basil? I think they got rid of some of the algos that were discriminatory towards conservatives, because there was that whole thing with Hunter Biden. Facebook and Twitter both heavily censored that story from the New York Post,
right?
Which, by the way, just to keep in mind, New York Post is owned by Rupert Murdoch. I think it's the same people that own Fox. So, right-wing material, but also globalist, just kind of keep that in mind.
That's known.
It's known, but I think just, to mention it.
Yeah.
But I think Ted Cruz came out and he was like, hey, we're going to subpoena Jack Dorsey. We want him out here to, explain what he's doing, blah, blah, blah. And it was right after that, Twitter goes down. Twitter doesn't work for a couple hours.
Right.
And then today, did you see what was trending today on Twitter? Like thousands, tens of thousands of tweets.
No.
Jesus Christ is Lord. Trending. Yeah.
Oh, so you think some anti-conservative algos were taken down?
Yeah. I think they undid some stuff, and then so they
allowed Jesus to trend.
Yeah, I think it allowed Jesus to trend, number one, but also maybe they made it trend to make it seem like, see, we don't censor, conservatives and right wing and religious people and Christians.
Right.
So to gather some data if they are if they have to actually appear in front of the court. But it was weird. It was weird when because I remember I texted you, right? I was like, hey, I can't tweet out. Can you tweet out? And I was like checking in.
I tested it and mine was shut down too.
Yeah. So it was definitely down. And it's just one of those things that makes me want to just. I want the election to be over. That's
I know.
a main thing. It's like, okay, is it November
So do
yet?
I. And every time I think about it, it makes me sad because I know it's not going to be over November 3rd.
No, I hope you're wrong, and it's it's just people just accept it. But based on what happened last time,
I did want to mention something you said, and I'm skimming this article. I'm looking for it. But you mentioned something about this being done specifically to benefit Biden.
Mm-hmm.
And that came up in the conversation with my LibJoe buddy when I was talking about the Biden thing, or Hunter Biden. I was like, dude, this is great. Like, what are you guys thinking about this? What's going on? And his answer to a lot of the stuff I was asking was, how does that benefit Biden to hide that clip or whatever? Like, what do you mean? Talking about the Biden story.
Mm-hmm.
How does it benefit Biden to hide the Hunter Biden story? I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course it
like
benefits
horrible
him to hide
PR.
it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole thing. The whole thing benefits him. It's like, nah. And that's when he got into like, we all know about Hunter. Everybody's known Hunter's awful, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't benefit Biden to censor that. I'm like, okay, that's just crazy talk.
No, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, but also, did you play for him the clip of Biden at the Council on Foreign Relations saying I had $1 billion and looking at his watch? He was bragging about that?
No. Well, but that's Biden bragging about the Ukrainian.
Oh, yes, yeah. Not your LibJoe buddy.
No. Okay. And I told him, I did bring that up.
Yeah.
And he conceded, but again, he was even about that. He was saying, I don't know. It's just, and he sent me all his sources. So I'm going to look at them and try to get into the mind of these people. It's because I don't understand it right now.
I'm going to have to take a shower.
Yeah. Get a script down.
Yeah. I mean, I get the feeling that they're going to release more stuff. Like, this is just my gut feeling.
There was more stuff today.
Oh, I know. There was more
stuff today. People were linking us to pictures today, and I wish I hadn't looked at them. There's some really raunchy
I didn't see
Hunter Biden pics out there.
I only saw the Hunter Biden crack pipe.
Oh, yeah. No, that one was funny, but there's some actual ones I wish I hadn't seen that people were linking me today. So, yeah. Anyways, it'll continue. The Hunter Biden stuff will get worse and worse and worse. And
right.
I doubt anything will happen. The one thing that the LibJoe buddy of mine did say that I agreed with was nothing, no legal action will probably come out of anything because the Republicans don't want to set a precedent for, because everybody in Congress has got their beaks wet in some nasty deal or the other. And so Congress just doesn't want to set a precedent for legal action on those things because they're all involved in it in different ways.
The entire government would just fall over.
Yeah.
All branches of government.
The entire Congress would go to jail.
Yeah.
And, maybe, of course, as we, the people, would prefer that, but Congress is not going to start putting their own people in jail willy-nilly like that.
Unless
aliens.
That's your answer for everything, isn't it, Gonzo?
Yeah, with my hair, I can probably do a Tsoukalos hairstyle right now. It's gotten pretty long.
Oh, well, there we go.
Or a samurai.
We'll need some. There's a prompt for the artists. Gonzo,
there you go.
Tsoukalos. People have already mastered drawing your headshot. Now they just got to put the Tsoukalos hair on it. All right. I think it's time to take a little break.
Let's do it.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
That's right. We're just going to take a quick break. And I hate to do it because viewership is pretty good right now. And we always lose about, 10%, 20%.
We can make it a little quicker.
Well, Yeah, we can. Well, we got. Anyways, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because after the break, we're talking about how tobacco is going to be involved in the COVID vaccine. We also have some more vaccine news regarding some unexplained illnesses. Also, we're going to be talking about something called the Barrington Declaration, which Gons will be educating us all on. I'm not sure what that is. So there you go. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. We're just going to take a couple minutes to thank some of our producers and some of our new Twitch followers. Gons, it's a short Twitch follower list, so let's zoom through it. You ready?
Ready.
Let's thank. We got to make it bigger. Anhadelabare. Anhadelabare. Thank you. We got Hairy Legs Joe.
All right, Joe.
Yeah. Oh, we have Hairy Legs Biden and Hairy Legs Joe.
Oh,
so
both, yeah.
He's helping us out. He's making multiple accounts to get the viewership up. Next, we have Sun Warrior 8N33. Next, I want to thank Nola Sofiaga. Then we have Dark Red Leet. It's Dark Red LEE7, which is Leet speak for leak. Leet. So thank you, Dark Red Leet. We've got Jeff Set. And that's all of them. Thank you to those who are following us on Twitch. Helps us out quite a bit, and it helps you out because you need to follow us on multiple outlets and turn on notifications. The great culling happened on YouTube, and we made it through this round, but who knows what'll happen next time.
We're turning into that, what was that movie with when they chop off the guy's arm? It's the...
What?
And he keeps fighting...
Oh, the Monty Python.
Monty Python, thank you. Yes.
It is kind of like it is, but
a flesh wound.
Yes, but seriously, I don't mean to be alarmist, but we did make it through that first culling. There's no guarantee we'll make it through the next one. So make sure to follow us on Twitch, multiple platforms, including Twitch.tv/CanaryCryRadio. Turn on notifications, because if we disappear from YouTube, that's it, folks. You're not going to have anywhere to watch if you don't follow us on Twitch. Okay, next, I want to say a little ditty about our value for value system. You might notice, if you're new to the show, that we do not read advertisements. We don't do any of that nonsense. Instead, we work on the value for value system. What does that mean? Well, here's the thing. We decided long ago, even before it seemed to be well known, that advertising was A, an evil industry that feeds on B, another evil industry called big data, and inevitably is used to incentivize guys and girls like us, Gons, who create some media on the internet. It incentivizes us to think of you, dear listener, as a commodity, a piece of cattle to be loaded up on a truck and sold to some big corporation for our own personal gain. It motivates content creators to turn on the humanity of their listeners, to betray your trust, and to sell your attention to big corporations so we can make a buck. And we decided that was a bad idea. It just was a hunch at the time, and lo and behold, it turns out to be the case. So we don't participate in any advertising. Instead, we have activated the value for value system, which is we create value. We do the show pretty consistently, and we do a pretty good job, I think. And if you gain any value at all out of what we do, you have the opportunity to put some value back into the show. And it's not just a donation. It's not charity. We can only do the show through the funding of our producers. And that's why we call them producers, because it's the real world. If you help to create a piece of media, you are a producer of that media. You're not just somebody who threw them a couple bucks. And that's for real. That's a real thing. You can put that on your LinkedIn. You can put that on your resume. Give them our email, and we will vouch for you, because you are a producer of Canary Cry Radio. When you support us in many different ways, one of the ways is financial support. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to head to patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. That's patreon.com/CCNT. And Gons, I'm just reloading a little page here just in case. Aha! I knew I should do that. And we had one new producer come in on Patreon during the show here, and that was Producer Joe. Thank you very much, Producer Joe.
Hairy Legs Joe? Joe Biden?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Joe from Europe. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
And that's it. Those are all the producers for Canary Cry News Talk Patreon. But we also have patreon.com/CanaryCryRadio. If you haven't done it yet, search out Canary Cry Radio. That's our interview style show. You should definitely check out. Different show, but we'll thank our producers here. We have Aidan again, or Aiden. Aidan. Producer Aiden Aidan. Thank you very much again for coming in on this Patreon.
Yes.
And then again during the show, we had a new producer come in, Patreon Account of the Year. He's back on board.
Back.
Thank you very much, Patreon Account of the Year producer. You're back. Fell off for a second, but made their way back. Now, that's how you do it. Patreon.com/CCNT. But if you don't like Patreon, that's okay. A lot of people don't like Patreon, and we support you. You can go to CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
That's right. CanaryCryRadio.com/support. We've got PayPal options for producership. You can do a monthly producership, or if commitment is not your thing, you can do a one-time producership in any amount. There's also cryptocurrency and some other fun ways to support the show there. Gons, who do we have coming in on PayPal?
PayPal, we have producer Mark coming in. $33.75. Thank you, producer Mark.
There we go. We got the 33 and the Trump tax donation all smashed into one.
Perfect.
And Mark says, great work, gents. God bless.
Well, thank you very much, producer Mark. We also have producer Kara coming in at $33.
Thank you very much, Kara or Sarah.
Or Sarah, yeah.
Or Sarah. Correct us if you want.
Yes. Thank you, producer Sarah. Sarah. We also have producer Charlie. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, producer Charlie.
She comes in at $75.33.
Ooh, the reverse, the Trump tax and then the 33 producership.
Yes, and she's.
Are we allowed to say this?
I don't know.
I don't know either. We'll save that for next time.
Okay.
Charlie, you know the detail we want to say, but we don't like giving things away we're not supposed to.
We're not supposed to dox people.
Charlie says, thank you for all your hard work and dedication. You're welcome, Charlie, and thank you for your producership.
Yes. We also have producer Sergey coming in. Thank you, producer Sergey.
Hey, Sergey, back on the train. Thanks, producer Sergey.
We also have producer Brandon.
Yes, and producer Brandon sent a little message, says William Steele sends his best regards.
Ooh, cryptic.
William Steele, notorious jewel thief and friend of Ghislaine Maxwell.
And apparently friend of Brandon's.
Yeah, Brandon is hooked in. Hooked in with the...
we also want to thank all the people who have subscribed on CanaryCryRadio.com/support. With different amounts. We thank you. I know we don't
monthly
always...
producers. Thank you, thank you.
We don't always call you guys out, but we do see you, and we are very grateful for you. Thank you very much.
Just to be clear, I do want to just give a little piece of information. You'll notice we don't read out every single monthly producer every month, but we do give you a shout out when you become the producer. So just for anybody thinking about producing, if you come in on the monthly support, we do still give you your producership on the show. We just can't read every single monthly producer, every single show.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
There you go.
Perfect. Again, as you mentioned, you can go to CanaryCryRadio.com/crypto to learn more about crypto, and also perhaps if you choose to support with crypto. We don't have any nights or names on this episode. The other way you can support the show with your producership is with your talent. And we ask that you send us jingles, music, or art. Today, we don't have any jingles that were sent in, at least not from the last time I checked. But we do have some art.
One art, please.
Woo! You'll notice I put one came in during the show.
Yes,
Guns.
I got that. I got that one. Okay. So first we have art from our prolific artist, Ali.
Woo!
This is Kamala. Kamala Harris takes on Rebecca Black.
Do you know that reference?
No, I don't. Did I miss
Okay,
something?
so Rebecca Black, this was way back, I'm going to say 2009 or 10, maybe 12. Rebecca Black she was the daughter of a very rich person. And basically this rich person just paid a bunch of money to a PR agency to make Rebecca Black into a pop star. She came out, she had one song that got like 11 million views in a day because it was so bad. And it was Friday. The Friday.
Yes,
Friday.
I remember. Wasn't that like I thought that song was made in some kind of like traveling studio van or something that like comes and
I don't know. It might have been, or it might have been, might have not been. But yeah, basically it was a company that you give them, tens of thousands of dollars and they will just write a song for you and you just perform in it and they kind of make you into a pop star. It's like a pop star in a box type of thing.
Right.
And yeah, Rebecca Black, that song blew up. It's an awful song. The video is horrible. And when I say horrible, it's great. It's hilarious, but it's just like, it did not work out.
Yes.
So Ali here mashed up Kamala Harris with Rebecca Black.
DD59 in the chat says, Ali, this is dark, but you are on your game, girl.
Yes, a very good drawing of Kamala in her her infamous cackle face.
Right. It's very good. Very good.
Yes, very good. She really, again, Ali has a way of not just visually representing these people, but really getting in, like communicating the spiritual significance of these moments.
Yeah.
So great job, Ali.
I do remember that song, but it's a little past my time of.
Yeah, this would not have been on your radar.
I was already married. Yeah, missed it. But I do remember the song, especially when I was a high school tech. Oh my goodness, that was definitely a thing. Okay, thank you, Ali. Fantastic art as always. You can see all the art at CanaryCryNewsTalk.com. Next up, we have one from Yvonne. Yvonne came in with Eurolock.
Yes, and this is a representation of Europe, the current relocking down of Europe. Who is this from?
Yvonne.
Oh, Yvonne. Yeah, very good. And we've got it's a quite well done sort of mixed landscape here of some big, beautiful, dark clouds against a blue sky with a city skyline, and then what looks like a park or a field. And there's a little lake there as well, and a big old lock. A padlock in the middle with a big blue key sitting next to it, and it says Europe. And this is regarding the current relocking down of Europe. And they mentioned that America's next. Watch out.
Yeah, and we were talking about the whole Canadian thing a minute ago with the whole FEMA camp-esque type of stuff they're planning for Canadians in early 2021. Yeah. And it should be noted that Canada is still owned by the Queen. The Queen, she is the monarch of Canada.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yes, she is. Shout out to Euro Pop Mart in YouTube. No lockdown was necessary here in Sweden. That's right, Sweden. You're doing it right. I miss you.
All right. So, Yvonne, thank you very much. Very good piece of art there. The next one is by Gabriella. This one is Confusion of Faces, Daniel 9, verse 8. And she had a little note to go with it to explain. what the piece had to do about. It references Daniel 9:8. O Lord, to us belongeth confusion of faces, to our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee. So there you go. That is the reference here. Of course, these faces are all masked.
Yes.
Which I think is the
masks
punchline.
Across the world there.
Yes.
And the I just had to do an image search. So the sort of I don't know, African feathered mask, some sort of tribal feathered mask that is included there. And just for those who are listening, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 human beings here. All of them are masked.
I counted. Oh, you're right. 7. Wow, I'm losing my ability to count.
Different races and genders and looks, and they've all got their mask on. But in the back, there is a woman in a burqa, a different kind of mask.
Right.
And then in the back also, there's sort of a tribal, kind of looks like a tribal African masked person. And it reminded me, and I'm wondering if it reminded anybody. I don't know if they meant to trigger me in this way, but do you does the reference "arise chicken" mean anything to you?
No.
Arise chicken, arise. No. Okay. That's okay. I didn't think it would, but it's maybe I'll just save it. For those who know the reference "arise chicken, arise," you will recognize this mask. I did have to look it up, though. It's not exact. I don't think they meant to make that illusion, but very good piece of art anyhow. Who is this again?
Gabriella.
Thank you very much, Gabriella. Very well
Producer
done.
Gabriella. And we got one more, came in at the nick of time. And this one's by 88. And this is called Basil, Your Headset Envy is Showing. And again, this is the it's you on the bottom left.
Okay. May I
yes,
take a stab at it?
Go ahead.
All right. So this is in reference to my headset envy from last episode. And we've got, of course, me in canary form wearing my VR headset. And I think that's you on the right, Gons.
That is me, yeah.
Yes, and you have got a headset to rival all headsets. Your headset has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eyeballs on it. Maybe lots of 7s here. 7 people, 7 lenses on your mask, and you're kind of dressed up like a secret agent, or like it reminds me of Splinter Cell. Did you ever play Splinter Cell?
I did. Yeah, the goggles of the Splinter Cell.
Yes, and you've got a sort of your covert beanie and your collar's up, and you've got a sweet turtleneck and a ski mask on, and you're saying we should come up. Oh, this was a comment we made last time.
It was.
In big text, it says we should come up with our own Canary Cry intelligence, referring to doing some Canary Cry intelligence agency work there. And a little tag on your jacket says CCIA, which is very good. I don't know how we missed that. Or did we mention that? I don't know. CCIA, Canary Cry Intelligence Agency. And you've got like a grappling hook gun.
Mm-hmm.
Cometogrips.co. I wonder if that's an actual thing we can go to. But you've also got a little tablet out, and it says hack complete. So secret agents, Gons, and I'm very, very jealous of you, Gonzo.
And your caption says, nani, which means what in Japanese.
Oh, I was wondering what that is. And look at that. Our combined set of information.
Two of us to decode the art.
It took 2 of us, but we got there.
All right. Thank you, 88.
Nani?
Yeah, it's an anime type of thing that you can get into.
Great art all around from all of our artist producers. Thank you guys so much. I do have something to mention. I am going to check our email really quick. Producer Dust, who runs Canary Cry Merch Perch, sent us an email. And he's saying he's having a hard time getting people to send him art. We need to decide how to do this, Gons, because we can send him all of the art that we have, or we can direct him to get to where to get it.
Yeah.
But we are having the issue of we need to make sure that there is an implication that if you are sending art into the show, that that producer Dust has permission to put it on a shirt or something.
Right, and that they'll be able to accept some kind of tip. So that's the other part of this that makes it challenging.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, that can always get figured out. And of course, you don't have to accept tips if you don't want to. But I mean, I'm tempted to say, let's just lay down the law now that if you are sending art, I mean, the implication is that you are allowing us to use it for whatever we want to do, and we must do that. And of course, in the Canary Cry family here, if tips come for you, the artist, through the Canary Cry merch perch, we will but producer Dust will reach out and make sure that all gets to the right place. So I'm going to say that if you specifically don't want your art to make it on any T-shirts, let us know. That's what it is. It's an opt-out, okay? So if you do not want any of your art to make it on Canary Cry merch, you must tell us. Otherwise, it's going to go. I'm going to send it over there.
Right.
And part of this is because the T-shirt, the merch is sold at cost.
Right.
There's no profit being made on this merch.
Yes, and just to mention to Dust, if you're listening, you can just go to CanaryCryNewsTalk.com and all the art is there on every episode. So one way to easily get it without having to email back and forth and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Okay. I think that's all I have.
Okay. Just a quick thank you to producer That Night Wind for continuing with her generous offer of her time and giving us time stamps for the show. And also, you mentioned it, Canary Cry Merch Perch, where you can get merchandise labeled
Merch,
Canary Cry.
baby. Yes. Again, all sold at cost, but you have an opportunity to tip the webmaster, the artist, or Gonzanai.
Yes. And do you have some reviews to read because it's Friday?
Oh, yeah, baby. It's Friday. That means it's reviews day. And remember, if you want to, well, it's needed. It's always needed. More reviews. It's very important to keep that train going. Gonz and I have no control over those algorithms. That is completely reviewer-led. And so I want to thank these people and read some great reviews. If you want to do it now, you can Google Apple Podcasts Canary Cry News Talk. Apple Podcast, Canary Cry News Talk. That will take you to the place where you can leave a review. And here's one from 630 WT Law. I think it's 63 Outlaw. Yeah, okay. 5 stars, says, great show. I've really been enjoying the show. I started a week or so ago. Wow, newcomer. And have been getting caught up on past episodes. Okay, going through the catalog. This show is one of the few places you can get news analysis on topics most other outlets won't cover. This is what it really means to be woke. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you so much, 63 Outlaw.
Right.
Wonderful, wonderful review. Next, we have Home Slices, another 5 stars. I'm not crazy. Thankful this kind of content exists. This is my wavelength, and I have no outlets in, quote, real life besides Dear Mother. Okay.
Thank you, Mother.
Thank you, Mother, and thank you, Home Slices.
Home Slices.
Next, we have Gonzasaurus, 5 stars. Says, maybe? Yes. If you are questioning everything in life, you are in the right spot. Apart from the occasional tardiness, parenthetical, Basil, no more food, this podcast is solid and will fill your mind with some craziness, parenthetical, in the good way. They offer wonderful commentary and ultimately point you to the true wellspring of life, Jesus. I appreciate these guys. Also, when my kid's asking for something, I give them the Basil dinosaur noise. Lovely.
Look what you've done. You've traumatized children with your dinosaurs.
It's gonna become a core memory for this child. Okay, next we got 5 stars from D-Dub. Oh gosh, D-Dub de Block. D-Dub de Block. Cowabunga. 5 stars. Cowabunga, dudes. If you aren't listening to this yet, what are you doing with your life? But seriously, as a longtime listener of Basil and Gons, they are the bomb diggity. So stop listening to that filthy trash the dragon tries to fill your mind and heart with and plug in Basil and Bonds. Thank you very much, D-Dub de Block. Next, this is over on the Canary Cry Radio review page, but I wanted to read it here. 5 stars from J Bones R. Great work. Current events with a sane, unbiased approach. I enjoyed the biblical undertones as well. Thanks for your time and hard work. You're so welcome, J Bones R. And there we go. Those are all the reviews for this week. Remember, folks, please leave us some ratings and reviews. I will be reading them every Friday. Not only do Gons and I read all of them ourselves, and it is lovely to get that feedback, but it also is mind control for the algorithms. When you leave ratings and reviews, especially good ones, the algorithms are forced against their own will to send the show to other people, to share the show with people who might not have heard of it. So it's a great, easy way to help out the show, spread the word, and do a little good in the world. And it's a very easy way to do that. So thank you for everybody who left reviews. Again, if you haven't done it, now's your time. Now's the time to leave a review. This is a call out to everyone who has not left a review. Google or DuckDuckGo or Bing or whatever your search engine of choice. Type in Apple Podcasts, Canary Cry News Talk. Leave a review. Thank you very much. That is all.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Wakching.
Okay, folks. Oh, you want to do this one?
Oh, it's up to you. If you want to do it, you can do it. I don't mind.
Oh, let me look at what we got here. No, because, I see. Yeah, you do it.
Okay. NPR.org. Tobacco plants contribute key ingredient for COVID-19 vaccine. And it says here, historically, tobacco plants are responsible for their share of illness and death. Now they may help control the COVID-19 pandemic. 2 biotech companies are using the tobacco plant, Nicotiana benthamiana, as biofactories to produce a key protein from the coronavirus that can be used in a vaccine. Quote, there's obvious irony there, says James Figlar, Executive Vice President for Research and Development for R.J. Reynolds Tobacco. Reynolds owns Kentucky Bioprocessing, one of the companies working on COVID-19 vaccine from plant. Quote, if you wanted to be cynical about it, you could, he says, but we tend to think of it as like at the end of the day, the tobacco plant in and of itself is still just a plant. Vaccines work by tricking people's immune system into believing it's been exposed to a virus so it can fight the virus off if the real thing should ever turn up. There are various ways to do that. One is to introduce something that looks like a virus to the immune system but isn't infectious. That's the approach Kentucky Bioprocessing is using. To make its vaccine, the company starts with tobacco seeds that they plant in a greenhouse. When the plants are approximately 25 days old, they're dipping into a solution containing agrobacteria. These are microorganisms that infect plants. In this case, they've been modified to contain instructions for making a protein from the coronavirus. The plants take up those instructions. 7 days after being exposed to the agrobacteria, quote, we harvest the plant, go through an extraction and purification process, and at the end of the cycle, we have 99.9% pure protein, says company president Hugh Hayden. They forgot the parentheses there. A separate set of plants produces a tiny particle for packaging the viral proteins. Quote, once each of those components has been manufactured and purified separately, we chemically attach them to each other, Hayden says. The result is something that can be injected into a human as a vaccine. Still sounds so not cool. The result is something that can be injected into a human as a vaccine and will prompt an immune response that should, in theory, protect someone from dying from COVID-19 or just like 99.9% of people that get it. Quote, to all intents and purposes, it looks like a virus, says Bruce Clark, CEO of Medicago, a Canadian biotech company that's also using tobacco plants to make a vaccine. Quote, so when it presents to the body, it looks and generates a response like a virus, but it has no genetic material inside, so it can't actually infect someone, Clark says. Medicagos has already begun testing his vaccine candidate in humans, resulting from the initial studies are expected soon. Blah, 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 kind of goes on here. Not much left to mention, but there you go.
So what's the story? There's tobacco is in the vaccine?
Yeah, they basically, they're using the tobacco plant to come up with the chemical purified that helps out in the vaccine, the microorganism that infects.
You know what's
the
interesting? When the last Ebola thing was going on, tobacco was helping with the Ebola problem too. There's something about tobacco that it has. I don't want to make any claims. I don't know the science, but this tobacco and virus connection is coming up a lot. And if you're following a lot of the deeper research on COVID-19, there's a lot of connections with Ebola. And so that makes sense that tobacco would be involved in the COVID-19 vaccine as well. But that's very interesting. I don't know if anybody out there, right? We have doctors and scientists and people who listen to the show. If somebody wants to help me out with this, send us an email, CanaryCryRadio@gmail.com. This article didn't really go into the science of it, but it is weird. You know, we've spent so much of our life being taught that tobacco bad, but apparently it can cure us now.
Well, I think it's how it's consumed more so than the tobacco itself.
This is not an invitation to start smoking. In fact, smoking cigarettes allegedly has a very negative effect on COVID-19.
Apparently,
or at least your chances of catching it. It increases your chances or something.
Well, if you're chain smoking with your buddies on the porch,
blowing out all your virus particles.
But very interesting. And of course, this is tobacco, even marijuana to an extent. A lot of it was propagandized to be like bad, evil. In fact, I think marijuana was a lot of it. The bad PR that it received in the 1900s was due to the big tobacco companies. Saying it's horrible.
Also the paper industry.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
So I mean
the weird actual history of marijuana illegalization.
Right.
Is a really complicated one.
It is, and of course you hear people talk about George Washington was growing hemp. And
they all did.
Yeah, they all did. And a lot of the clothing,
the useful plant.
Yeah. Again, plant. It's really just a plant if you really think about it. It's all been politicized.
The devil's lettuce, Gons.
I know it makes you all insane and crazy. But okay, so there you go. Tobacco plants helping the Ronas. Who would have thought?
Yeah, it is weird. I want to know more.
Vaccine.
That's right. Speak of the devil, Gons, over here at CNN.com. Article titled, Johnson & Johnson pauses COVID-19 vaccine trial after unexplained illness. You heard that right. Different company, different vaccine, same problem as the rest of them.
Well, maybe they should use tobacco is what I'm saying. Because Johnson & Johnson, clearly, whatever they're doing is not working.
Oh, no. Elon Muskrat, you smell so bad in the Twitch chat, says, if I smoke cigs, I can't get sick, right? Elon. Come on, Elon. The article reads, drug maker Johnson & Johnson said Monday it had paused the advanced clinical trial of its experimental coronavirus vaccine because of an unexplained illness in one of the volunteers. Quote, following our guidelines, the participant's illness is being reviewed and evaluated by the Ensemble Independent Data Safety Monitoring Board. the DSMB, as well as our internal clinical and safety physicians, the company said in a statement. Ensemble is the name of the study. Okay. I wonder what weird connection that is. Why is it named Ensemble? Quote, adverse events, illnesses, accidents, etc., even those that are serious, are an expected part of any clinical study, especially large studies. The pause was first reported by Stat News. Johnson & Johnson, oh my God. Johnson & Johnson's Janssen vaccine arm is I'm sorry, I don't know. That's so funny.
Because you're picturing people in boardrooms come up with names is why it's funny.
Yeah, you're right.
Welcome to the Johnson & Johnson meeting. What are we going to call the vaccine arm? Here,
hold on.
Janssen.
What should we call our vaccine arm? Johnson & Johnson? Janssen. Okay. I'm sorry. Here we go. Oh my gosh, this is bad. I'm not going to be able to do this. Johnson & Johnson's Janssen vaccine arm is developing the shot. The company did not say what the unexplained illness was, but one point. Okay.
You gonna make it? Come on, bro.
I'm gonna make it. Hold on. I gotta stop looking at it. Hold on. I gotta scroll so I can't see Johnson & Johnson's Janssen. The company did not say what the unexplained illness was, but the point of clinical trials is to find out if vaccines cause dangerous side effects. Trials are stopped when they pop up while doctors check to see if the illness can be linked to the vaccine or is a coincidence. Quote, based on our strong commitment to safety, all clinical studies conducted by the Janssen pharmaceutical companies of Johnson & Johnson have pre-specified guidelines. These ensure our studies may be paused if an unexpected serious adverse event that might be related to a vaccine or study drug is reported. So there can be a careful review of all the medical information before deciding whether to restart the study, the company said. We, quote, we must respect this participant's privacy. We're also learning more about this participant's illness, and it's important to have all the facts before we share additional information, the company added. Quote, serious adverse events are not uncommon in the clinical trials. The number of serious adverse events can reasonably be expected to increase in trials involving large numbers of participants. Yeah, so it's a similar concept as if we test more people for COVID, more people are going to have COVID.
Exactly. Thank you. That is exactly the point. Go ahead.
On Tuesday, the company said it was still not known if the illness was in someone who got the vaccine or who got the placebo. What?
How do you get an illness from a placebo?
You know what's craziest? The company said it was still not known if the illness was in someone who got the vaccine or the placebo. Oh, they know.
They have to know.
May say they don't know, but they know.
They probably had whoever reported it was part of the blind test side of things.
Yeah, right.
Giving them the benefit of the doubt.
There's double blind stuff. That's right. And that's a good point to make. When it comes to double blind studies like this, it's just good science to do double blind, but it also decreases liability for the company. That's something they don't talk about much. Quote, we are now awaiting further medical information and evaluation, which we will then forward to the DSMB for further independent recommendations. Mathai Mammon, global head of research and development at Janssen, said Tuesday on the company's third quarter earnings call. Further, as many trials are placebo-controlled, it is not always immediately apparent whether a participant received a study or treatment or a placebo. Let me just scroll here. They really are not giving us any information. Such a pause is not immediately concerning, agreed Dr. Ashish Jha, the dean of the Brown University School of Public Health. Quote, this is completely expected, and it's just a reminder how ridiculous it is to try to meet a political timeline of having a vaccine before November 3rd. Of course.
Oh, guess who said that?
Well, it was Jha, but they were saying it to Chris Cuomo. Yeah.
He's not trying to save people. He's trying to kill Catholics.
The quote, the Johnson & Johnson trial is the biggest trial of the vaccine that I know of, 60,000 people, Jha said. Within that trial, you'd expect a few pauses. No kidding. The drug maker said there is a significant distinction between a study pause and a regulatory hold on the clinical trial. Quote, a study pause in which recruitment, blah, blah, blah. I don't need your explanations. This is the second phase 3 coronavirus vaccine trial to be paused in the U.S. AstraZeneca's vaccine trial was paused last month because of a neurological complication in a volunteer in Britain. While the trial resumed there and in other countries, it remains paused in the United States while the U.S. Food and Drug Administration investigates. Quote, we want the vaccine to be safe, and we've got to let the process play out, and it's going to take a while, Jha said. To me, it's reassuring that companies are acting responsibly and pausing when they need to. Johnson's phase 3 trial started in September. It's one of 6 coronavirus, blah, blah, blah. They just give us a little wrap up at the bottom. So, there's a stark difference in the reporting of this particular pause than with the AstraZeneca pause. Remember when AstraZeneca had their pause, it was all, this is horrible. We're all gonna die. Trump killed us because of his fast vaccines.
Right.
And this reporting is, don't worry, is completely normal, totally expected. We were planning on this happening. It's all good. Nobody panic. It's a completely different tone. And here's, I should have looked this up and I didn't. But I can almost guarantee, what the difference is, Gons?
What is it?
Johnson & Johnson is an advertiser on CNN.
That's what it
Booyah.
is. That's what it is.
Yep, and AstraZeneca is not. And that's why advertising is evil, people, because CNN is here to protect their advertiser, Johnson & Johnson, and attack their non-advertiser, AstraZeneca.
Because it is a financial competition here. Who gets the vaccine out first?
That's exactly right.
Yep.
I do need to confirm that, but I can almost 100% guarantee that Johnson & Johnson... I mean, it's I don't even know why I'm trying to disclaim this. It's almost guaranteed, but I do need to confirm that.
Right.
But that would explain it.
Yep. One more story. We got to get through it quickly here. You got a
is it?
hard out now.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so we'll do it quick.
State-sponsored propaganda machinery.
A pandemic special.
This is from The Spectator. And the title of the article is, Why Can't We Talk About the Great Barrington Declaration?
Oh, yeah. What is it, Gons?
You probably haven't heard of the Great Barrington Declaration.
I haven't.
This is a petition started by 3 scientists on 4th October calling for governments to adopt a policy of, quote, focused protection when it comes to COVID-19. They believe those most at risk should be offered protection, although it shouldn't be mandatory, and those not at risk, which is pretty much everyone under 65 without an underlying health condition, should be encouraged to return to normal. In this way, the majority will get infected and then recover, gradually building up herd immunity, and that in turn will mean the elderly and the vulnerable no longer have to hide themselves away. According to these experts, this is the tried and tested way of managing the risk posed by a new infectious disease dating back thousands of years. The 3 scientists who created it aren't outliers or cranks, but professors at Oxford, Harvard, and Stanford. And since its launch, the declaration been signed by tens of thousands of epidemiologists and public health scientists, including a Nobel Prize winner. So why haven't you heard of it? The short answer is there's been a well-orchestrated attempt to suppress and discredit it. I searched for it on Google last Saturday, and the top link was to an article in an obscure left-wing magazine claiming the petition was the work of a, quote, climate science denial network funded by a right-wing billionaire. The top video link was a Channel 4 news report in which Devi Sridhar, a public health advisor to the Scottish government, denounced the declaration as not scientific. A bit rich, considering Devi's PhD is in social anthropology, whereas Sunetra Gupta, one of the petition's authors, is a global expert on infectious diseases. In the first 10 pages of Google search results, not one took me to the actual declaration. It is hard to find any mention of it on Reddit, the world's best-known discussion website. The two most popular subreddits devoted to the virus, r COVID-19 and r coronavirus, have excised all references to it, with the moderators of the latter denouncing it as, quote, spam. A similar line has been taken by nearly all left-leaning newspapers. The Guardian ran an article on the declaration last Saturday, but only to flag up that its more than 400,000 signatories included a handful of dubious-sounding experts, such as Dr. Johnny Bananas and Dr. and Professor Dominic Dummings. Hardly surprising given that...
Dr. Johnny Bananas?
Hardly surprising given that lockdown zealots have been openly encouraging their followers on social media to sign up with fake names. But it gets worse. On Monday, Professor Gupta appeared on BBC News to talk about the new lockdown measures. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if Dr. Johnny Bananas doesn't follow us on Twitch by next episode, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Okay. All right, somebody reach out to Dr. Johnny Bananas. Make sure he gets a link to the show.
Somebody call him, tell him to join the Twitch.
Yeah, just before she went on air, one of the producers told her not to mention the declaration. Naturally, she ignored this instruction, but where did it come from? At the end of last month, Professor Susan Michie, a member of SAGE, took to Twitter to complain that she'd been invited onto the Today program to discuss focused protection on the understanding that the scientists behind it would be portrayed as beyond the pale, only for Professor Gupta to make a compelling logical argument. I quote, "I got prior agreement from R4 about the framing of the item," she wrote. "I was assured that this would not be held as an even-handed debate. On whose authority has she been given that assurance? I suspect Ofcom's coronavirus guidance has something to do with it. This guidance, published when the lockdown was announced in March, warns broadcasters to exercise extreme caution before criticizing the response by the public health authorities or interviewing any skeptics. The organization I set up last February, the Free Speech Union, is currently trying to judicially review this guidance, but in the interim, the BBC no longer needs to suppress discussion of the declaration because the WHO, the World Health Organization, the most respectable public health authority in the world, has done a U-turn on lockdowns. This was clear on Spectator TV last week by Professor David Nabarro, one of 6 coronavirus envoys appointed by the WHO's Director General. Quote, "We in the World Health Organization did not advocate lockdowns as the primary means of control of this virus," he told Andrew Neil, before going on to highlight the collateral damage they've caused across the world, echoing the words of the declaration. "Ignore the censors and the smear merchants. Go to gbdeclaration.org and sign the petition." So, you know, a little bit of a personal agenda there in terms of the Spectator.
So this is interesting. This is okay. I might need a little bit of a review. So the Barrington Declaration was a group of 10,000 epidemiologists who are saying what now?
They're saying that most people under 65 can go back to normal, and everybody over 65 that are at risk, you know, give them the care if they want it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And okay. And that they're saying that this is how you were going to get herd immunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, isn't that crazy? And, you know, we didn't cover it, and No Agenda covered it great. But the WHO coming out and saying that lockdowns don't work and we shouldn't be locking down and don't lock down. That from the World Health Organization. And yet, at least here in America, and as we've seen across Europe, lockdowns continue. And yes, this Barrington Declaration, I mean, you talk about believing the authorities or whatever. It's not like a registered group that would have an agenda. It's just 10,000 individual epidemiologists who are trying to get the truth out there.
Right. Well, and yeah, the three who started it, who created the declaration, are professors at Oxford, Harvard, and Stanford. So I don't know how
Oh my gosh.
you can't
Wow.
you can't
This
really
is
get any.
big.
It is big, but no one's covering it. Nobody is
No,
talking
they're
about it.
not, because this is really a nail in the coffin
I think
of
so.
everything. It's all political. The
Yep.
lockdowns are political, and not just political, but as if you're listening to this show, a grasp to claw more control, to globalize things, to gain more control over individuals' lives, even though it has no medical bearing on what we should be doing.
Yeah.
And, even saying that might get us kicked off YouTube, but it's just the truth, and we can't not say it.
Yeah, and Euro Pop Mart in the chat, TLAV, Ryan Christensen, and Whitney Webb have been covering it well. So yeah, I know they've been covering it. We're just trying to do our part to just mention it, at least to get people out there if
Absolutely.
you're interested to look into it. It's another one of those things you can share with your normie friends. And there's going to be some disinfo type of stuff out there on it. Obviously, Google looks like they've censored it. And
well, it is unfortunate that Johnny Bananas had to sign.
Johnny Bananas. Well, that's part of it. That's part of the
poor guy.
The disinfo campaign,
And that's how they disinfo a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pick out one. Poor guy. I mean, probably is a real guy. Who knows? I don't know. Whatever. Maybe it slipped in there, but probably a real guy. Gets enough guff every day of his life. Patients coming in, having to call him Dr. Johnny Bananas. And now he's getting picked out of 10,000 doctors to discredit maybe the most important document of the 21st century. Poor guy. Dr. Johnny Bananas. Don't worry. Some artist is going to render you, and we will immortalize you on this show.
I just can't think of
Dr. Johnny Bananas. You're going to be on a t-shirt, buddy. Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, that's good. Barrington Declaration. Find it, folks. Find it. That's important. Are we able to see it? Can we pull it up anywhere?
I can go to the website to see if we can.
Oh my gosh, I'm choking on my own Johnny Bananas joke.
Interesting how they didn't link to the actual website, the gbdeclaration.org. So here it is.
Johnson & Johnson
Janssen.
Johnson & Johnson Janssen's Dr. Johnny Bananas.
Oh gosh.
All right. Well, you're right. We're up against my heart out, so we got to go.
Okay, let's do it. Okay. We're done.
All right, everybody. We did it. We did another show. Thank you for being here. The show is not what it is without you, and we appreciate all of our producers, our very important producers. If you haven't done it yet in the chat, make sure to thank your producers. Producer Joe, producer Aidan, producer Patreon Account of the Year, producer Mark, producer Sarah, producer Kara, producer Charlie, producer Sergey, producer Brandon, producer that's it. And thanks to all of our artists, Allie, Yvonne, Gabriella, and 88. Thank you guys so much. And a big ol' thank you to producer That Night Wind for giving us the timestamps for the YouTube video. Make sure to use it to jump around and find the things you need to find on the YouTube video there. Remember, we're on the value for value system. We need producers to do the show. We can't do the show without our producers. Next show is going to be Monday the 19th. Oof. Put it on your calendar. Turn on notifications. Monday the 19th, sometime between noon and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Be there or be square. And remember to become a producer over the weekend here. You got some time. Yes. And artists, that's your time too. Come on, artists. We haven't had any jingles past couple at least this episode. So if you're a musician or you know your way around some sound editing software, please create some jingles for us. Jingles, that might be the hardest thing to do because you kind of got to look into the future. What things are coming up that we'll need a jingle for? Or you can make one. for Johnny Bananas.
I was going to say, you can take topics or things we've mentioned and turn them into songs. Like
That's right.
Kind of like how People Zoo came about. So
that's
there's
right.
different ways to go about it.
Yes, and remember, if you're a musician, you can make a show-related song. We'll be playing it on the Canary Cry mixtape at the end of the show here, so make sure to stick around for that. And let's see. Now, most importantly, you got friends, you got family. They're all starting to wake up to the fact that the world is not what it seems, and that's great. That's good news. But if they need a place, a lighthearted place to continue the waking up process, go ahead and send them an episode. Send them this episode. They need to know about Dr. Johnny Bananas, and we'll be happy to be a part of that journey for them. Share episodes out on your social. It's what we got to do, folks, especially after the great culling, the outlets, the number of people making this content that are not banned is pretty slim, and we're lucky enough to be one of them right now. So now's the time to get the show out there. Remember to leave ratings and reviews. Please, thank you. I'll be reading those next Friday. And if you need any other instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to him, you grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right, folks. Just ask Noah. All right, remember, we'll be back on Monday the 19th, sometime between noon and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Be there. And we'll be here as well, and so will your producers. Remember, if you want to get hooked in with the Canary Cry Prayer family, the Pray-ducers, email canaryprayer@gmail.com. You can send prayer requests. You can also join the team. Make sure to do that if that's your thing. Let's see, Canary Cry merch perch. We're working on it. If you are an artist and you don't want your art used, email us. Otherwise, it will get used. There you go. You have been warned. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode. Wait, Gons, any last words?
CanaryCry.community for social media away from all these platforms.
Yes, your ex-Facebook users, head over to CanaryCry.community. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Shoo, hallelujah.
Son of a bee sting.
Look it up.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Bye!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
Fun fact, I believe it was another fun fact. Fun fact. Another fun fact.
Brings me back to my Screamo days.
Pod.
That's where I started.
Light up a huge blunt.
A joint.
Give everybody
magic mushrooms.
Smoke.
The CIA, I mean, lots of intelligence agencies have tested secretly dosing communities.
LSD.
Psychoactive pills should be covertly administered.
Just put me on some, I don't know.
Give you a shot in the butt.
Fluoride.
Oxytocin.
Get a chemical hug.
I did dabble, some of that robot crack. I know what it's like.
It's a lethal recipe for disaster. You need help.
If you're a pharmacist, you need to repent.
All right, weird.
Humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
People, I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on. fat and sad.